Hello. Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on Boolean toggles. This was mainly at request of people in my server and people I know. This is not, know-it-alls and everything. I'm not really good at doing tutorials. I can kind of be all over the place. I'm going to do my best to stay on track so I'm not confusing you guys too much. After watching this video it's still too confusing, you can join my Discord server. We have a help channel that I have either myself or someone else on the server will try their best to help you, and yeah, we want everyone to know what they're doing, so you can join. I'll put it down in the description if I remember to. I'll try. Okay, the first thing you want to do is if this is an avatar you already bought and you're just editing, you don't need to worry about this, but if this is an avatar you're setting up yourself, there are a few things we will need to do to prepare to be able to make the toggles. So the first thing you're going to do is click your avatar, and you should have an avatar descriptor on it already. If you do not have an avatar descriptor, you'll need to add that. So you can just go to the bottom and click add component and then VRChat avatar descriptor. Here, let me move this really quick, make them a little bit smaller so not as much in the way. Okay, so we're going to click our avatar, we're going to scroll down, and we're looking for playable layers. So that'll be right here. Yours might be like this, that's fine. Click the arrow next to it and it will drop everything down. The next thing we want is our FX layer. Yep, this is where we're going to be putting the animations. And then under expressions, you'll see a menu. This is where your in-game menu, that's where that is, and that's where we'll set that up. And the parameters is basically what tells the menu what to do. If you do not have those, I'll go ahead and show you how to make them really quick. So the first thing I would do is I would make a folder. So I'm just going to make a folder really quick. So I right-click to do this, create, and click folder. I'll just name this animation example because I already have an animation folder. Okay, I'm going to go into my folder. I'm going to right-click again, and then I'm going to create. The first thing we're going to do is our animation controller. This is what your FX will be. And now we can rename it example FX. And then for the menus, right-click again, create VRChat avatar, and then we'll do parameters. I just usually name this the avatar name and then parameters. Okay, and we'll do the same thing again, right-click, create VRChat avatars, and then menu, and then I'll just name this example menu. Now we need to click our avatar and go back down to our playable layers in the inspector. Yep, and now we're gonna drag and drop the FX and the parameters and menu in there. Again, if you're editing an avatar, you do not need to do this, and you don't want to do this. It's gonna remove all your other toggles. So only do this part if you do not have this yet. Add these, but if you already have it, then you don't need to do this. It'll break stuff. Okay, now that I have my stuff ready and set up to animate, we can do our animations. So the first thing we're going to do is click our avatar, Control D to duplicate, and then we're going to hide our original one. So you click it, and in the inspector you go to the top, and it'll be the checkbox next to the model name. We want to do this just in case that you break anything by accident. That way you're breaking onto duplicate and not your main avatar. So always duplicate your avatar when going to animate. Okay, now that we have it duplicated, make sure your avatar is clicked, and we're going to look for the animator in the inspector. Usually it's at the top. Sometimes it's a little finicky and it'll be at the bottom, but 99% of the time it's at the top here. So now we're going to take either our avatar FX or the FX we created, and we're going to drag that into the controller. And if you're like, hey Nova, I don't know where the freak my FX is, you can scroll down to playable layers, and you can see under playable layers, the FX is here, and you can click this, and it will navigate you to where your FX is. So as you can see, it highlighted it here. Okay, so we have our FX and our controller. Now at the bottom, we can go to the animation tab. Now, if for some reason you do not have this animation tab, at the top, you can go to Window, and then we can go to Animation, and here it is as Animation. You'd click that and it'll open it. Okay, now with our duplicate avatar shown, we're going to click Create Animation. The first animation we're going to do for a bool is we're going to do, so let's say you were toggling a hat or something, right? It would be hat on. But for my example, I'm going to do skirt. Skirt on. Okay, we're going to hit this little record button. We're going to go to our avatar, and you can move around so you can see better. Do the drop down. You can either click in the scene, but it might be a little bit hard to select, so usually I go over here and I click. So outfit, and then in the inspector, we're going to go up to that little box at the top here. We're going to unclick and click. So basically for your on animation, you want the checkbox to be checked. And then we're going to click the record button again, click preview so our model is not in that bike pose. We're going to do the drop down here, create new animation clip, and do the opposite, skirt off. Click the record button. We're going to click our skirt again. We're going to go to the top right in the inspector, and we're going to uncheck that arrow in the box. So now we have our check mark off for off and our check mark on for on. Okay, and click the record button again and click preview. Now we have the basic animations for a Boolean toggle. So let's go ahead and hide our duplicate avatar. So click it in the top right in the inspector, uncheck the check mark, click your main avi, and check on the check mark. Okay, and now, okay, I realized I had made a mistake and I clicked the wrong FX layer, so this will be edited in. So I'm going to click my avatar, scroll down on the right, and under the FX, under playable layers, I'm going to click the FX and click the FX so it shows up in the animator here. If you don't have the animator, you can go to Windows at the top, Animation, and Animator. Okay, now I made a mistake, and so I'm going to reset this up again. So first thing is, you'll see that we have animations here. You can just right click and delete. Okay, and do the plus on the parameters tab, bool, since we're doing a bool, and I'm going to name this skirt. You can name this whatever your item is. This is what mine is. I'm going to double click Control C to copy the name. Go to layers, click the plus, Control V to paste that name we had. And then we want to go to the little cogwheel here and set the weight to 1. If the weight is not set to 1, the toggle will not work. Okay, and I'm going to go to my folders below. As you can see, I already have the animations that we'd made here. If you can't find them, you can use the search bar. Okay, I'm going to drag in my skirt on and my skirt off. Now, you can see that one animation is orange and one animation is gray. The orange means that is the one that is on by default. So in game, when I spawn in, my skirt will be on. If for some reason you wanted it to be skirt off, you could right click skirt off and set layers default. And now this one's orange. I'm going to have my skirt on be default. Okay, now we're going to click skirt, right click, make transition to skirt off and click. Now skirt off, right click, make transition to skirt on. Now I'm going to click that down arrow, go to my settings. Yours might be like this. You can click the down arrow. Transition duration 0, exit time 0. Fixed duration unchecked and exit time unchecked. Okay, now we're going to conditions, plus we're going to set it to skirt that we made and true. And then we'll go to the up arrow, transition duration 0, exit time 0, fixed duration unchecked, has exit time unchecked, conditions, plus we're going to set it to our skirt, and this one will be set to true. Sorry, this one will be set to false. My brain's a little fried. So yeah, our down animation, our down arrow will be set to true. Our up arrow will be set to false. If for some reason you mess this up and you see flickering in game, it means that both your animations were probably set to true or false. So make sure you have one set to true and one set to false. Okay, now we can set it up in our menu. I'm going to go to my avatar and go to my parameters first. So as you can see, it puts us in our folder. Click, and then I'm going to add, and I'm going to call this skirt, and the type is set to bool. So we have here, you can see we have synced and saved. Saved means when you change worlds, the toggle that you had toggled would stay. So let's say I had my skirt on by default, but in game I turned it on. So when I changed worlds, it will still be on. And then synced means your friends will be able to see it, so it's global instead of local. So if this is unchecked, only the person wearing the avatar will see the change and no one else will see it. So make sure you have that checked on as well so your friends can see. Okay, now we can go to our menu here. Again, if you weren't in this folder for some reason and you needed to find your menu, you can click your avatar, scroll down to playable layers, and then expressions, and you can see the menu is right here. You can click it and it'll navigate you to it. Okay, so I'm going to click my menu. As you can see, I already have one here. We're going to ignore that. I'm just going to delete it. Okay, so click the plus. I'm going to name this skirt for the name. You can name this whatever you want. The toggle type is a toggle. And then the parameter we're going to set to the skirt. And there you go. Now we can test it. So you can either test it in game or you can use an add-on called Gesture Manager, which is through the VCC. So I'm going to click my Gesture Manager. If you have Gesture Manager installed and you don't know how to add it, you can go to Tools, and it's the first one here, Gesture Manager Emulator. Okay, so I'm going to go to Gesture Manager, click Enter Play Mode, Expressions, and Skirt, and there you go. Our toggle is working.